What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. And today we have a very special guest, 2023 NCAA All-American Izzak Olejnik from NIU. Izzak, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, man, good to have you on. And obviously, big news for you. You hit the portal after this year as a grad transfer. So talk a little bit about how the portal's going, man. How's everything coming along?
Yeah, it was a busy couple days when I first got in, and then just kind of filtering through some things, kind of narrowing down the list and taking my visits and trying to kind of fit them all in the month of April, to be able to make a decision by like mid-May. It's been hectic, but I'm enjoying the process and because coming out of high school I wasn't highly recruited. So there's a couple schools I was looking at high school and entering the portal this year and kind of giving myself the best opportunity to set up for my future. It's been a fun process to go, but definitely hectic for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fun. We talked a little bit off camera about some of the schools that, you've looked at and some of the stuff like that. And let me just say, he's gonna go big time. It's gonna be, I'm sure, a little bit of a culture shock for you coming
Yeah.
from a school like NIU where everything's a little bit smaller. I'm sure even campuses, I'm sure you're looking at campuses in some of these schools like, wow,
Right.
this is double the size of NIU. And,
Right.
you know, and to be quite frank with you, I mean, you're that caliber wrestler where you kind of deserve that treatment at this point in your career.
Right.
You solidified yourself as a top eight guy in the country. You kind of deserve to have all this high class treatment like all these other guys do. So
Yeah.
awesome experience for you. And I think we see a ton of guys now that are grad transferring out a lot of these
Right.
smaller schools and getting ready to just go ahead and make a mark. So obviously you wrestle in the MAC, small conference made up of pretty much all of the smaller schools. So what do you think the big difference is going to be this year when you now are heading to the Big 12, the Big 10, ACC, Pac 12? So what are you kind of doing mentally to prepare yourself to, wrestle in these big, heavy hitter conferences?
Yeah, I think the big difference is going to be kind of like strength of schedule. Obviously, if I go Big Ten, that schedule is just grueling. That Big Ten schedule is, weekend after weekend, you're wrestling a top 10 guy. Um, with kind of like all the other conferences as well, the strength of schedule is probably quality matches you're going to be getting. But I think that's kind of good because you get to see some of those guys earlier and it's good to wrestle those guys, get a feel for the top guys in the country and be able to kind of take away from some of those matches and then be prepared to wrestle them at the NCAAs. But like I said, I think I'm just gonna keep kind of doing what I'm doing. In the MAC, NIU, I thought we did a pretty good job of keeping the level of competition on our schedule. Up. We were wrestling some pretty good schools, going to like the Midlands and wrestling the guys that we usually don't see during the season. We were wrestling them at Midlands, Michigan State Open. So um, I don't necessarily know. It's obviously going to be a difference for sure, but just kind of doing what I've been doing throughout, my college career and just, wrestling every match the same and treating every match, like it's my last, going out there and trying to, put my best offense out there and score points and, ultimately come away with the wins.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure having a harder lineup, I'm not saying that the MAC is a cakewalk, obviously,
Right,
but
right,
having these top contenders, these other All-Americans that you're wrestling against more consistently will not only get your body ready but
right,
mentally,
right.
you have been in these matches, you've wrestled these guys, and just kind of game planning would definitely be a so it's gonna be interesting to see
100%.
how everything goes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I think, everybody's talking about this year is how loaded the transfer portal is.
Right.
And, you know, you obviously have already finished your 4 years of college. You're leaving NIU with a degree.
Yep.
So what's your major, and do you think that, what your major is in college has an effect on what schools you're looking at?
So I graduated with a physical education degree here. So this is my fifth year at NIU. Graduated with a physical education degree, and I'm just now starting my first semester of, well, in the spring, I started my first semester of my master's degree, which is also in physical education. So like taking these visits, and a lot of the schools don't have that like degree that I'm like in right now, or that master's degree. But really, it's like any sort of educational field or educational degree I could get would kind of benefit me and be able to use that in the physical education field. So there's some programs that are 1 year, some that are 2 years, but I'm definitely trying to leave school with a master's degree. That way I don't have to come back to school after I'm done wrestling and out of the kind of the school loop, and try to get back into it. So that's definitely plays a role in kind of where I'm going. So I've just been trying to do some research on some of the schools, and just try to keep that in mind.
Is that gonna mess up like because I know every master's program is a little different,
Right.
and you don't want to lose everything you've already done in the spring.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, the transferring of credits. Like I'm in 9 credits now, and I hopefully, some of them transfer over. If not, it's kind of starting from scratch. But with being in only 9 credits, it's not the end of the world. Like if it was my second year and
You
I've
hope you
already
could at
taken
least get
18 or
3.
something.
You hope you
Yeah.
could at least
Yeah.
get one class
Yeah.
at the minimum.
An
It's not like
elective.
it was 18 credits. Or
Right,
anything.
right. So, I'm not too worried about that, but definitely, definitely in the back of my mind, I'm hoping that some of the credits transfer over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, for
man.
sure.
Definitely. So, we kind of want to touch a little bit on where your career began.
Right.
Who got you into the sport, what age you were, and then stuff like that. We'll continue kind of branch off of that.
Right. Yeah. So I started wrestling when I was 4 years old. I'm from Bakersfield, California. Well, I was born in Morgan Hill, California. It's my dad. He coached that. He was been a coach since he graduated school. So he was a wrestler. He's a California state champ. So we were kind of born in. I was kind of born into the wrestling world, and so I started wrestling when I was 4, and taking me to a whole bunch of tournaments. And my dad was really the one who got me into the sport, and just wrestling throughout my time in elementary school, junior high, going to national tournaments, doing all like the Reno TOC or the Reno World of Wrestling, whatever, and the roller tournaments. And then really getting into high school, I went to Bakersfield High School, and from Bakersfield High School, there's been a lot of like rich wrestling there. Jake Varner, Daryl Vasquez, Nathan Morgan. There's a whole bunch of great names coming out of Bakersfield High School. So great schedule. And California itself is such a tough state to wrestle in. I think that definitely has kind of shaped me into the wrestler I am today. And then wrestling throughout high school, I came away a 2-time California state placer. I got 5th my sophomore year, and then 4th my senior year. I wrestled 106 for the first 2 years of high school, 126, and then 145. And then, like I said, kind of a mediocre high school career. So I was getting recruited by Cal State Bakersfield. And kind of funny that, my dad, my uncles, they all went to Cal State Bakersfield. And, it was almost like a shoe-in, like I was, meant to go there, right? But
Like a legacy.
NIU came out to the NHSCAs in Virginia, and I wound up getting 5th there. So that's where they kind of talked to me. And, I just really wanted to come out here and make my own way, create kind of my own world. And, being able to do that, I think that was the right choice for me, because I was able to kind of, come out here and just really pave my own path and, make a name for myself. And then, here I am now, looking for a new home.
Definitely. And being from California, we've had I think a couple California people. Where would you say California ranks among the other states for wrestling?
I would say number 1. It
You'd
might be
say
a little
number
biased.
one?
It may be a little biased.
Whoa!
Whoa,
It may be a
whoa,
little
whoa.
biased, but I would say it's number 1.
Number 1?
I mean,
over PA, over Jersey.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's number 1.
Out of pocket a
It's
little
number
bit.
1.
Controversial.
We got a Jersey kid.
Controversial.
Matt's from Jersey. I'm from PA. So I'm
We
gonna
got some
fight.
powerhouses here. There's some
I'm gonna
powerhouses here for
I'm gonna
sure.
fight the argument that I think PA is number one, but I
I think
mean,
Jersey's number one.
Man.
Dude, we're all
I mean,
just
hey,
biased. That's what it is.
I'm gonna
We're
have
all
to
biased.
agree to disagree here.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
California's top five.
I agree.
For sure,
I,
for sure.
I think
Top
California's
three.
probably three. Probably three. I don't know, man. Some of these kids coming out of New Jersey are a different breed. They really
No,
are.
yeah, for sure. No, there's especially now, like the high school kids now, they're
Oh,
wrestling college
I think
open,
everybody
all
who's like
American.
in college now, like they're
Right.
talking about these new breed of high school kids, and they're like, yeah, I don't know where these kids come from. Like
Yeah.
that,
Right.
like you said, like there's the kids that are wrestling opens in high school and beating all Americans.
It's
Like
crazy.
Yeah. My
They're
cousin
developed.
came to the ESU Open.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I
like
bet.
just watching them wrestle, like I'll go home and like I'll watch a wrestling match. Like, what? These kids are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's crazy.
I remember watching like thinking about like when I wrestled heavyweight in high school, and then I watched like Nick Feldman wrestle, and I'm like, whoa.
It's just a
That
different
ain't
style,
that's
too.
not what I did.
Right.
That's not what I did in high school.
Right.
No, man, but different,
It's
definitely
definitely good for the
different.
sport though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
for
sport is
sure.
on such an up. It is on
It's
such
evolving.
a positive incline right now, and that's
Right.
just there's nothing better, And at the end of the day, we could sit here and argue PA, New Jersey, California. But at the end of the day, it's awesome that from all the way East Coast to West Coast, we have some hammers, some
Right,
just
right.
states that are just producing just incredible levels of wrestling talent, which is obviously good because keep
Right.
growing the sport. California women's wrestling, I know that it's getting big out there with that.
Oh
too.
yeah, no, that's one thing I think, for the sport in general, not just for women's wrestling, for the sport and like growing women's wrestling, like that's probably one of the hottest sports that's, on the up. And, it's one thing that, because I know in California it was like a separate tournament. Now they're like combining it with the men's tournament, which is awesome. They're getting, the same crowd that is for the men's or the boys state championship. And, now the finals are side by side. So it's deserving, right? They're wrestling at a state tournament as well. And it's definitely on the come up in California. A lot of junior colleges, a lot of colleges in California are starting programs, and it's nice when you get like kind of ex wrestlers to help coach. Like I know Fresno City, they got Gracie Figueroa. She was I think she's still wrestling now, and she's a dominant wrestler, and having to coach that, that's definitely gonna improve the sport as well.
I think this first generation of women wrestlers, which we're seeing now, is like all these girls wrestling at like the D2 college level and stuff that are world champions. They're the ones that are paving the way for everybody else. And then as soon as their career's over, they're gonna come back and they're gonna coach. And that's I think once the girls that are currently wrestling in college now graduate and they are and they wrestle a couple world teams or whatever, and then they kind of finish up. That's when the women's wrestling is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
When
And
world level talent coaching high school girls that, when they're able to mold those girls like that, it's going to be crazy growth.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. And, like being a wrestler and being in college, we're always like, oh, we don't get as much funding as like football or like these other sports. But I see that changing a lot, like with the introduction of women's wrestling and women wrestling growing, like men and women wrestling, like it's pretty much together. You can have practices together. Like not many other sports can the men's team and the women's team like still be a whole team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like when I think of my team, I think of the women included.
Yep.
So I just growing the sports. It's really it's going to grow and it's going to blow up and it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
So talk a little bit about NIU. NIU is one of those schools where I feel like every 5 years they got one kid that slips in there somewhere. Right. He slips in there and he All-Americans. And it's happened. Who was the All-American before you? I know it was
Britt Wilson.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, no, I've loved my time here, and it's the outside world really, they may be looking at it a different way, like, oh, like he's outgrown the program, like he's thinking he's big time, but it's really not. Like I'm just really looking for, I graduated
new adventure, man.
5 years.
New adventure in life.
Right. And it's just kind of doing what, I think is best for me at this point in my career, and I have, a goal in mind, to be a national champion. And I'm just trying to give myself the absolute best opportunity to accomplish that. But, I've loved my time here it kind of gave me a little chip on the shoulder, wrestling at these, tournaments. And, like you said, being from a MAC school or, school that's not well known, but, making it well, putting it on the map. And I definitely took pride in that. And like you said, we've had guys come before. When I came in here, we had guys 5 guys qualifying for the NCAAs, round of 12s. But really the one who broke through was Britt Wilson. He was a 184 pounder. He broke through in 2021. Kind of when it was like I don't know if the EIWA schools were in there, but that was the NCAAs. I think it was in St. Louis. So he really paved the way for, just knowing that it could be done here. And being able to witness that, because we look up all the time, on our All-American board, and just being able to witness it and see the work that he put in, and then being able to replicate that and do it myself, and just kind of trying to set an example for the guys here, because I'm still super close with all the guys on the team. I'm telling them, even I'm leaving, but even if I'm somewhere else, hit me up, like text me, like if you need something, I'm here for you guys. And I just think that the relationships I've built here at NIU will last, for a lifetime. And I'm super thankful for the time I had here. But like I said, I'm on to the next adventure and journey, and I'm excited for the process. But it's like I said, it's been an awesome time here for sure.
No,
Yeah,
man.
and you stayed
The Mac
loyal
went
for
crazy.
so long.
Right.
Mac went
Yeah.
crazy this year, man.
It definitely one of the better years I think we've had.
You yourself, and we talked to Anthony Noto as well from Lock Haven. He had an amazing year this year.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I know the MAC is growing. There's only some people go, and they go to these big time schools, and then they decide to go back home. And a lot of these MAC schools just so happen to be located in some pretty hot spots of wrestling.
Exactly. East Coast for sure.
Yeah,
Midwest.
a ton, like obviously, like I know, like where Noto is Lock Haven. That's perfect, right in between PA and New Jersey.
Yep.
A lot of guys that go out West Coast or Midwest, they get kind of homesick and they end up at Lock Haven. And you're gonna see a lot of these MAC schools start to get some hammers rolling in the programs and stuff, man.
Right.
But so talk a little bit about you get to nationals. You go ahead and win yourself a MAC title this year, which obviously congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
No easy stint there, but so you get yourself at nationals and you do really well and you become an All-American. What was that moment like for you when you win that match to become an All-American?
Yeah, that was, something I've been working towards since I started wrestling, and going to the NCAAs when I was a kid, watching the matches, even like my redshirt year at NIU, I went to the NCAAs and just looking on the mat and like, dang, these guys are wrestling at another level. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to get there kind of thing. And just being able to win that match and the emotion, it didn't really hit till really like I got back to campus and like kind of settled down, and that's when it really kind of sunk in, like, dang, like I'm an All-American, and that's for the rest of time. And it's just I give credit to my coaches, my trainer, because at the MAC tournament in the finals, I like sprained my ankle pretty bad, and I was in a boot for a week, and having that week and a half that we had, I was in the training room probably more than I was on the mat, and just trying to rehab it, and just being able to do it, with struggling some adversity. And it was definitely a feeling that I definitely want to feel again, this next year. But no, it was awesome. It was amazing. Just being able to feel that, and like I said, really paved the way for some of the younger guys here, and letting them know that it could be done. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. And after this next year, when it's all said and done, do you still want to be in wrestling? Like, go and do freestyle, go for a world team coach?
Definitely. I want to stay in the college ranks a little bit, and I think kind of help out coaching. The wrestling career, like, I'm probably gonna hang it up after next year. Just because I want to be able to start my coaching career and still wrestle with the guys on the mat, obviously, and just kind of learn, because my end goal is to be able to teach and coach, at a high school level. So being able to kind of learn some of the in and outs of coaching and before I kind of take over a program myself, I think that'd be super valuable to be able to stay along, at the college level and help coach, wrestle still. And but like my competition days will probably be over after next year.
Yeah, I mean, one of probably, I mean, it's awesome to see because a lot of people their careers would have been over this year.
Right.
You were blessed to have, I obviously blessed isn't the right word to use for that, but you were lucky enough to get that COVID year.
Right.
So you
Oh,
have,
yeah.
this is now your 6th year of wrestling
Yep.
in college.
Yeah.
So, obviously next season do you plan on staying at the same weight? Is that the weight? Is that you're sticking with it?
Yeah, there's been a little conversation about, either going up or staying at 65s, but I think as of right now, I'm pretty comfortable, and confident at 165. Um, I I do have, there's I don't know, I could see myself maybe, going up, but that had to be a commitment I make, yesterday, to go up to the next weight, because I do have the frame. I'm a kind of tall 65
Yeah.
pounder. Definitely got to put on some muscle and do that. But that's something that, I got to decide, pretty quick here in order to be, a good size 74. And because
Yeah.
I do get big over, in the off season, but I want to be able to kind of shape that weight into good weight and, muscle and put on muscle and be able to wrestle and compete at 74s, which I think I can do. But I'm pretty comfortable at 165. And I think, for one more year, I think that'd be the best fit for me.
Yeah.
What do you get up to in the summer?
My, I mean, I've been up to like 190.
Holy
I
shit.
think the heaviest I've gotten over the summer was like 195, and it was just ugly. It
30
was,
pounds?
yeah,
You
it was
came
not
in,
good.
you cut 30 pounds the season before?
Oh, it was like it goes to my face. My face just gets round. Like it's not a good look for me. Like, but usually in season, like preseason, I'll start like 85. And then, during season, I usually don't get above 75, 77. So it's not a terrible cut. And then
Yeah,
towards the end of the
that's
season, it's hard. Right.
exactly what I did last year.
Yeah. It's
So
hard. It's hard for me to keep on the weight towards the end of the
Hmm.
season. I'm weighing like 71, 70. So
so here's the thing, I asked you that question about going up, but it's like you stay at the weight, you got Keegan O'Toole.
yep.
You go up a weight, you got Carter Starachi.
Right.
So obviously you fear nobody because you were able to do it, and especially now be able to go to a school where you're gonna have all these new outlets,
Yep.
a team doctor making you meal plans or whatever you need to do and all that kind of stuff, nutritionists and all that stuff,
Yeah.
being able to kind of formulate everything that you eat on a daily basis, and whether
Right.
that's you bulking and they're going to be able to get you on a bulking diet with all that information that you need for that. Just making sure that you're at peak performance.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, would think, okay, he got 8th place.
Yeah.
Looking at, I'm pretty sure everybody in your bracket is returning, all the
Yeah.
All-Americans. So
Right.
it'll be interesting, to see how that plays out for you. Because I mean, why run away? It's
Right.
like why run away when you were able to do it, and now you're gonna have even more outlets, with these
Right.
different schools you go to, and who knows, man? Maybe you surprise some people, man. Shock the world a
No.
little bit.
And I think this year, right? I don't. I could probably count on my hand how many people expected me to kind of do
Your
what I
bracket
did
was
this year,
loaded. Your
right?
bracket was
And so,
loaded. Oh my god, it was loaded.
yeah,
It was a big bracket.
right, right. So I
Yeah.
think being able to do that really kind of, you know, obviously I knew what I was capable of. My coaches, my family, everyone who's surrounding me, they knew kind of what I was capable of, and this wasn't really a surprise, but kind of putting the nation on notice, and and I, like I said, I love the to be able to go out there and compete against the best guys in the country, because definitely 165 was one of the toughest weight classes in the country this year, and um to be able to come away with an All-American status is awesome. But Next year, definitely, raising the goals and, wanting to end on the top of the podium and, just looking for, that and if aim high and you miss, you're on the podium still, but it's one of those things where I think it'd be best if I stay at this weight and I'm able to do it again and kind of thing.
Definitely,
Yeah, man,
man.
for sure.
And what's great about this season for you is your rankings gonna stick with you. So now that
Right.
you placed, no matter where you end up, no matter what school you go to, your name will be attached to. You're gonna come in at number 8 in the preseason, as long
Right.
as
And
nobody, anything happens to anybody above you, you'll come
yeah.
in at number 8 in the preseason, which is fabulous. Great
Right.
ranking
And
for yourself. Being
yeah.
able to be a top
And
10 guy immediately
yeah.
at a new school.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, that's something, I'm also kind of keeping in mind, being able not only myself goals, but like helping a team, reach goals, like getting a team trophy, getting a team title. Um, just, trying to find the best fit for me, whether that be, like I said, a top 10 team or not. But I want to be able to not only help myself, but help a team, accomplish their goals as well. So that's definitely playing a role in where I'm going as
And you know
well.
what, man? It's great. It's great that I always like it when guys all American and they have another year of eligibility instead of
Yeah.
that last year. Because it's
Right.
like no matter what, you've solidified yourself the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Nobody could ever take away that you were an all American.
Right.
No matter if next year you go to nationals and knock on wood, go 0-2.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
You were an all American, and that's
Yeah.
something you'll carry, and you'll have that trophy with you, and you'll be on the wall of the wrestling room in NIU
Yeah.
for the rest of your life. You could take your kids to NIU one day and be like, "Hey,
Exactly.
do you see that up there? That's me."
Yeah. And
And
trust me, the trophy stays with me at all times.
that's the first time we've ever had somebody have it on hand, quick
oh
enough to
I
pull it out.
this one stays here. I look at it every day. I mean, it
He
says eighth
carries it
place.
around campus.
Right. Oh yeah, I've brought it around. I've definitely, it stays with me. But it's because like I said, it's definitely, it was definitely a goal of mine since I started wrestling and
Beautiful thing to have.
oh yeah. But it can kind of makes you a little, I don't know, a little sour, a little bitter after, the season, eighth place, being able to, because you always want to win that last match. But that gives me some motivation to, come back and, do better next year.
100%,
So,
man. And I mean, looking at your path to, an All-American, you beat some really high level Big 10, Big 12 wrestlers and,
right.
Kind of proves that no matter what conference you end up in, you're going to be there to compete.
Right. 100%.
100%. So I'm going to throw it over to
Maybe.
Matthew. We got some little Q&A session for you now. Kind of end the wrestling talk for a little bit. We'll have some like wrestling related questions and stuff like that,
Right.
but I'll throw it over to Matthew so we can kind of let the fans get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, you said you get up to 190, and you're not doing that by not eating. So I gotta know what's the favorite meal?
When I'm back home, it's In-N-Out, because we don't have In-N-Out out here. And probably I will say it's the best burger joint anywhere. Tops Whataburger, tops, any kind of burger joint out there. In-N-Out is, a go-to kind of cheap meal for me.
I've
But
not had the pleasure of trying
Hot
In-N-Out.
take. Another hot take.
come on.
Shake Shack is better, but okay. Shake
Uh,
Shack is so
I
good.
don't actually. I
haven't
don't
had
know if I've
either.
ever had Shake Shack. So,
I haven't had either, so I got nothing.
but no, definitely that's meal of
What's the
choice.
In-N-Out order? What's your In-N-Out order?
Double, no onions. It's a number one. No onions.
Classic guy. He's a simple man. He's a simple
Oh,
man. Not too
simple.
much.
Yeah.
And around NIU, is there any good food spots? Is like what's the go-to after a long cut? You wait in, you're
Right.
back. You don't
Yeah.
gotta weigh in for a while.
Yeah, we got a spot. It's a local spot called Fatty's. It's like right next to kind of the stadium. That's probably my go-to kind of sit down spot. They got like the best potato salad, you know, that I've had. It's like Cajun potato salad, super good. But that's definitely a go-to. Me and my girlfriend will go there all the time, and Sit down, it's like a bar and grill too. So it's you have your bar up there and then some sit down spots. There's outside and super cool spot.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And when you're not eating or competing, what do you like to do for fun? You hanging out with the boys? You're playing some games? What's up?
Right. No, I love hanging out with my roommates. We got some super cool guys here that live in the house with me. Golfing, always out golfing. When I can, obviously in Illinois, it snows on the ground 6 months of the year, but I'm trying to get out. Just actually today and this weekend is super nice outside. So, we're outside playing some cornhole, just hanging out with the team. And that's I think really where you get your bonding with the team is just being around each other, um, finding what everyone likes and just kind of sticking together like that. So definitely hanging out with the guys and outside doing something. For
Nice,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we've been asking this question to a ton of people, and we've got some really interesting answers so far. What is your favorite walkout song?
Oof. Favorite walkout song. Well, I think, being in the Midwest, coming from California, this year I had California Love as a walkout song. I thought it was
That's
pretty
good.
cool. I only had
Yeah,
one
that's a
like
good
home
one.
meet where it was really like put on play against Northwestern. Um, but no, that was a pretty cool one. That's not really like a hype song that you come out to and everyone's like, oh, dang. But it's like if you knew kind of like, oh, he's from California, this is like, oh, it's pretty cool. But I don't know. I'd have to probably go with that one.
And on
It's
the
Yeah.
very
music theme, what are you listening to get you nice and hyped up for a match?
I don't really like listening to music before matches. I'm more of like a in the zone kind of thing. I pay attention to the match, and it's hard too because like dual meets are like the worst. Like I'll be so invested in the matches, and then have to remember, oh, like I'm wrestling like in a
Mhm.
couple matches. I got to kind of calm myself down. But um, on like a bus ride up to like a tournament or duel, I'm listening to. I would probably my favorite's like Lil Baby. I love listening to that and any kind of like rap, hip hop, any current kind of, and I'll dabble in some country, here and there, but I'm anything but like screamo, like heavy metal stuff. Like I'm not huge into that, but uh, yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
Yeah, that's what I love about wrestling teams. You really get like a good mix of people. Like I know you
right,
probably got some teammates that are listening to like hardcore rap music on the way up. You got some guys listening to classic rock or some scream
right,
music, and then you got those country boys sitting there
yep,
listening to some 90s and 80s country music on the
oh
bus
yeah,
ride up to the tournament. It's always awesome to see
Yeah.
the team blend.
Then you got some guys, some Katy Perry, some
Mhm.
Lady
oh yeah.
Gaga.
Yeah, some
And we've
Rihanna.
had, like I said, we've had some of those walkout songs and on our team, Katy Perry, Firework. Um, there's been some interesting song choices, on our team for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think every team has had some like somebody walks out to Barbie Girl, it's
Oh
like
yeah,
yeah, like just like classic fun stuff. But I mean, to be honest, that's kind of what it's for.
for
I feel
sure.
like especially in college, the sport is made so much more serious than it is in like high school.
Right.
So it's like having like that little moment where you get like just to get to like pick a song. Like
Yeah,
just something that you could walk out to and like listen to and enjoy for 10 seconds before you go
exactly.
out there and go to war with somebody.
Right.
Like it is pretty fun. And I think that's, there's this, I saw this clip from a comedian and he was talking about the sport of wrestling. And he was like, talking about how, like in the high school level, it's like a bus ride of high schoolers gets picked up and then they go to another high school and meet in a gym with when all the lights out, except for one light that shines in the middle and they fight each other. And he's like, but you
It's
get in a fist
definitely,
fight at school and you get in trouble, but you go to a wrestling match, you get slam somebody on their
yeah,
neck, and it's like, well, all right.
it's all right. Yeah. No, it's a super unique sport, and that's why I love it. It's you versus, another man, and you're wrestling to see who's the better man that day. And um obviously a team aspect as well, being able to, help your
Mhm.
team out in a dummy in a tournament, but super individualized sport, and that's why I really enjoy it.
In my opinion, the hardest collegiate sport.
100%. Yeah.
I had someone
Yeah.
try to tell me baseball or basketball was harder, and I hung up the phone. So
Yeah. The only thing with baseball is I played baseball up until like my sophomore year of high school. And obviously at that level, you're not seeing like, I mean, I guess there were a couple guys who were throwing like 85, 90 miles an hour, but I don't know. I think you put me in a batting box, like I can make contact with
Yeah, you
a
get a couple
90,
warm up
95.
pitches, you
yeah,
get to see the speed a little
Right.
bit the first
Right.
couple, and then by 7 or 8, you're hitting at least one.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you see all these guys like transition from, I don't know, Tim Tebow goes football, baseball, Michael
Yeah.
Jordan,
Able
basketball,
to do it. Right.
baseball.
No
You don't
one's
see
coming into the
people
wrestling.
going professional and then being like, I'm gonna try wrestling and making a world team.
Hashtag where is Adam Kuhn? That man
Yeah.
went from wrestling to an NFL team. I
Right.
still think that will be one of the most legendary things a wrestler's ever done.
Yeah. That's like same thing. Actually, a guy like Stephen Neal, wrestled at Cal State Bakersfield, national champ, 3-time, I think, Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, coming from, and wrestlers, make the best football players, like
That's what
being
every
able to be
coach says.
agile,
Every
mobile,
coach
and,
says, yeah.
and
Every coach is like, oh, try wrestling. It'll
Right.
help you with your tackling.
Yeah,
Right.
footwork, tackling, all that stuff. It's like, so any
Yeah.
young people out there that, got a couple years of high school left listening, if you're playing football or you're just wrestling, go play football. If you're just playing football, go wrestle. It number one keeps you in
Yeah.
shape. You'll never be
Oh, yeah.
any more. There's nothing compares to wrestling shape. I remember like coming out of football, I would think, oh man, I just played a full football season. There's no way I'm not in shape. That first day of practice, I'm over the trash can. I'm dead.
Right.
I'm done. 20 minutes in, I'm like,
Yeah,
Every time.
I'm
Every
done.
time.
I can't do it.
You gotta love it too, because it's like it'll take you, a month and a half to get into wrestling shape, or like not even peak wrestling shape. Like you got to wrestle a season to get into peak wrestling shape, but it'll take you a week to get out of shape. Like I remember I took, a week and a half off, just kind of healing up some injuries after NCAAs, and stepped on the mat again, wrestling with like some of the high school kids over at the local high school here. And I was like, oh man, wow.
you
Did not
took a
take
couple
long.
deep breaths. You were like, oh man.
Right. Right.
You're like, these are high school kids, man. Like,
Yeah.
that kid, that 16-year-old just got in on my leg.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
man. It's always good fun. So we've asked this question like 160 something times now. This is, a crazy question we like to ask. So you could take 3 of your NIU teammates with you into the zombie apocalypse. Who would they be and why?
3 teammates. All right. First one I'm taking is Anthony Chaloni. He was our 149 pounder this year. I'll save that reason for until the end. That's the first guy I'm taking. The second one, I'm gonna have to go with our heavyweight, Therese Aaron. Just because he's a big dude, and I know he can kind of, blah. I'm looking, I'm really looking to save myself in this situation, so I'm looking for a big guy to step up to the plate and take on some zombies. And then third, oh man, I'm gonna have to take. I'll probably take our 57 pounder, Anthony Gibson. He's a guy, who's not really scared of anything. He'll kind of, and we get along real well. We were workout partners on the road, and so we got some chemistry there. But the 49 pounder Chaloni, I'll take him because, I think we can. He's real gullible, so we're able to kind of. Let's just put it this way: first one who's getting eaten would be probably him. So, give us some time to kind of escape and evade them. So
nice, man. That's a good lineup. Good reasoning.
Yeah, good reasoning. I mean, except for that, you're picking somebody on your team basically as a walking sacrifice.
Right.
But,
and he would, it's a guy.
Is he one of those guys that would be like, you're probably right? And he'd
100%.
accept it.
He'll throw up a little fight, but no, he'll understand. I think he's a team guy. So
for the most part, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, Izzak, it's been a pleasure, man, and we look forward to having you on next year, and hopefully we introduce you as national champ. That would be awesome for us. We're kind of waiting. We're waiting for our first national champ. We've had national champs on. Right. We're waiting for the first time for somebody to
All-American and then come back.
Come back and win. And we got a good lineup. We got a
Yeah,
lot
right.
of guys that are coming back next year that
Right.
we've had on. So hopefully we get a national champ. You know,
Let's do it.
shout out to Parker Keckheisen. He's been trying for us. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's probably like with him and Braxton Amos will be back
Yeah.
next year, hopefully, and all those guys, all the young guys that we talked to. We
Right.
got to get a national champ on. We need to get like a big time freshman, so that we got
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
4 or 5 good years of
Yeah.
wrestling left in them. But
A lot of
nah, man,
opportunities.
and we're excited to see where you land. You know,
Yeah.
no matter where you go, that team's gonna be super super happy with you and your performance because obviously, you know, the sky's the limit for you. You know, you get yourself in a good room with some really good practice partners. You're just gonna improve, and you're gonna shoot up, man.
100%.
No
You know, we
doubt.
look forward to seeing what you got in the future, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, it's I really like what you guys are doing, and like I said, thank you.
Yeah, man. You know, we appreciate what you guys are doing, man. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So it's been
Yeah.
another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. See you guys later.